Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Bobby J on 30A.
How are you, Chris?
Hey, Bobby. Good. How are you?
Good. How's the weather there?
It's good, man. It's sunny. It feels
Is it
good,
starting to warm up or snow on the ground?
Yes. Yeah. Well, all the snow's now gone, which is good. And it's warming up. We're like, we're getting 50s, 60s, which is awesome.
Well, I'm on the back porch again. I think it's pushing 70 today.
I saw some of those.
I tried to turn it the other way so you could see the
Yeah.
pool and the state forest, but then I thought maybe I won't do that to you right now.
Yeah, right. Thanks. I have been seeing some
still-
pictures you posted on your page, your Facebook page, and I'm like, oh, the ocean pictures that you've been taking are incredible.
Man, it's just this time of year. I went, pompano fishing a couple days ago with Brody, and I mean the water's still cold. It's still got a little bit of a crispness to it.
Yeah.
But we didn't catch anything, but I mean it is just absolutely beautiful. I mean the water is spectacular. This time of year spring is my favorite.
Is it okay to say, like, I mean, if people hear this show, but they don't actually live in 30A, you guys should go look at Bobby's pictures on his profile, because like,
sure,
you would want to move to 30A.
Yeah,
I gotta go move to 30A.
And keep in mind on that page, I don't hold back from talking about things I don't like about the area. I mean, as an agent, I get tired of everyone trying to make it fluffy. It's a great, good gosh, it is a great place to live. There's really not anything like it, but we have our politics that are in play and our government issues and our overgrowth. I mean, think about an area like this is going to have growth problems. And the county just, in many ways has let that go. I think that they don't have a really good plan. And, so you'll see a little bit of that on my page too. So don't hold that against me.
Right. Well, that's actually interesting. That just occurred to me, like, that's a good segue into our topic. Cause I think, we're talking about, learning to let go. And I think, most people, we've all heard that. And I think most of us would even say that's good advice. But when it comes to certain areas of our life, we're like, I can't let that go. We just did this episode with Bart, right? I can't let sugar go. I can't let coffee go. I can't let my job go.
What about your checkbook?
Right.
I mean, you can let go of all that stuff, but not. I mean, the money thing is also like, whoa, not gonna go there.
There are like things we can let go to a point, and then you go past that, and we're not willing to let it go. We'll hold on. Like, I think, listen, I would say I don't want to say I masquerade around as an evolved person. I think I have evolved. It's not a charade, but I do think like I'm evolved to a point, and then I'm like not. Then I'm like carnal, primal, right? Like,
what is that?
Like, I'm not, like, I will fight to the death, like, to not let something go.
I agree. I'll be preaching 1 minute about letting go.
Yeah. Right.
And then in a moment find myself deeply in it. I mean, as simple as, my wife wanting a different sink.
Yeah. Right.
The next thing I know, I'm trying to debate as if it matters.
Right. God forbid a different sink.
Yeah, why am I even go get a different sink if you want a different sink? But I think we often have to ask ourselves: is this the mountain? I've been doing this a lot lately. Is this the mountain I want to die on? Sometimes when I feel that, I use that little inner voice and ask myself: is this a mountain I want to die on? Because I want to save that sink. Let her get the sink. But when she starts talking about a new car, then I can kind of go, that is a mountain I kind of want to die on.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's all interesting, and the journey is definitely interesting.
Let me ask you this part, because I know, so we can get into some of the story if you want to share, but you came off this great experience, right? Where there was some letting go. And what I want to know before you tell me that story is like, what was like, why let go? So what? Like, so what if I want to, die on this hill? Like, what was the downside of control or of not letting go of stuff?
Well, for me, I believe that we can get into the science and the medical side of it,
sure.
But I also know that people have the similar things and didn't have the same problem that I had. I guess about a year ago, not letting go, I believe, led me to an aneurysm in my right renal vein and left me with no kidney function on the left side of my body. Wow. So here's a guy that push. I can multitask. in the top of anybody I know, and I can take different phone calls, and I can go. I can juggle multiple bank accounts. I can juggle, selling 60 homes a year. I can just always been able to do all that. And frankly, never really realized the toll that it was taking on me, because I was able to do it,
Right.
and then, and kind of finally realizing that when I watched my kidney function, so the incident happened and I had a working kidney, right? Because I'm so important and I couldn't let go, I continue. I did $1.2 million deal from the intensive care hospital in the hospital.
Wow.
I snuck on the phone and pulled the transaction together. Right. Wow. That's so cool. Look at me. Right. Well, the end result was every time I go to the doctor, that kidney function was a little worse. And to the point where you and I had talked about it one time, I was saying, Chris, I got to get out of here. I knew that I couldn't do it here, that I needed to get to that silence of myself to understand maybe what the big picture is. Which is what I did. But it really got down to like finally almost having no function in the kidney. Like I probably, something I have to live with is that I probably could have saved it had I stepped off the field and, hey coach, I'm out. These professional athletes go to the sidelines and rest and get well, but I couldn't do it with this, constantly going and emails and truthfully, the family stress and the dynamics of, people being born, people dying, in life. We had a lot of that the past few years. And it just one day got bigger than me, and I knew I needed to step out. So I stepped out and began to know that I needed to learn how to let go, or I was going to end up with no kidney function. And that's what I did, for 14 days. And I'm telling you, man, we talked about Bart last week, quitting sugar and coffee, which I'll have a cup a day now. I'm not, completely off of the coffee, but how hard that was. That physical part's easy, man. Mentally. It's mental, man. To be in this real estate business, as long as I've been in it, 20 plus years. And I can tell you, I've been in surf trips in Costa Rica in the middle of a jungle, and I'll find an internet cafe and get on telephone or get on the phone, or I'll find my hot sheets 7 days a week. It's probably why I've been successful at it, no matter what, for 20 years straight.
Wow.
I had no idea how to really shut it off until I was forced to. And
you said when you were there, it was like, what was it, like day 5, 6 before like things started, like how far into that time of being in with yourself?
You're still wanting to check. They got a little internet thing there. And you still go over there and you realize you're not supposed to be doing it. It's almost like you're sneaking it on yourself. They don't care. Sure. But I knew that I had to get away. Right.
Yeah.
So I'd go check and, a little bit check in and make sure that I was still, micromanaging my people, making sure they're getting it done. Right. And, the 5th day in, I would say that I started realizing that, why do I think my way is the right way anyways? If you think about it like that, right?
Yeah.
Deals are going under contract. Things are still happening.
Yep.
Every time I text one of them, they say, oh, hey, we're doing great. Leave us alone. They would literally tell me that, because I think they could sense that I was starting to heal a little bit, like they could sense like, wow, it would be nice to have that guy back, I work with, Stacy Petrucci, and she really took over and handled the phones. Amanda helped with my closings and listings. And it really, and I'll tell you what it really boiled down to, Chris, was that I don't care who you are, how deep you are in this business of real estate, or maybe just business in general. It's the only business I really know at this point in my life. But if you let your reserves get too low, which is what I did.
Your energy reserves?
Your spirituality, your physical, your mental, all of it, just too low, it will haunt you. And you may not think it. You may look at me and go, wow, that old dude, he don't know what he's talking about. I'm tough. I can handle it. Real estate and business, I believe at this point in my life, it's not a 50-yard dash, and we all attack it like that. It's a marathon. And if you treat it as a marathon and you know, like a marathon runner, how they take care of themselves along the way, you can have a really good career, or you're going to burn out or you're going to get injured, or you're going to end up with one kidney like me, you know? And I truly believe that the bad things that happen to us in life, this could probably end up being the best thing that ever happens to me or happened to me, because my relationships they seem to be at this point 2 or 3 weeks back better. Like my son and I are clicking on a level. My wife and I are getting along better. Everything seems, my children from afar are better, and I think it's because I got enough reserve that I'm dialed in. Like I'm hearing this rings, you know. I even changed the ringtone to this like little bell, a sound that I like.
Yeah.
And I don't even mind it going like away, like a ding, ding, ding. I'll call them back. They're going to be there, you know? Yeah. For whatever reason, I think that, you know, there's so much ego attached to thinking you got to do it now, and, you know, or something. I guess ego would be the word. Would it not be?
Yeah. I think, you know, as you're talking about this, a couple things come up for me, but one is I feel like a lot of times how we produce a result in life is through controlling it, right? Like we show up, we do stuff, we don't learn to let go. We like hold on and we force it through. And then we do enough of that over time that it's like Pavlov's dogs, where there's a conditioned response that when I push it through, I produce a result. So if I need to push my life through, then I'm going to keep pushing, right?
Gosh,
and to let go is like terrifying, because how I know myself to produce a result is by controlling it, forcing it, pushing it, hustling it. And to let go would be like, I don't know who I am to let go.
It's like, you're right. It's like a trained response almost. You think you've got to oversee it, micromanage it. Half the time it'll work. It's a transaction with the right people in place. It's going to work its way through.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if it doesn't, it's not supposed to. And you know, probably everything in life kind of stems from that same place, you know? It's funny to step out of your life and watch it improve while you're not in it.
Wow. Wait, you know? That's crazy that you just said that, because I'm like, I don't think most people think that's an option. Like, you step out of your life, how does your life improve? Because of that conditioned response. We're so used to, like, we're the ones that have to make it better.
I mean, you know, I think one of the things that hurt me the most, a couple days before I left, my wife and I were looking at the computer or something like that. And she said, we got into a little bit on, you met Beverly. She doesn't hold back, right?
Yeah.
She said, God, I can't wait till you leave. And it was from anger, you know, and I don't know what that was. It was like a moment for me where I was like, again, reminded of I'm the problem, you know, like why did I just react the way to her like that? I was so, like I said, no reserves. That was probably the sink issue, right? Like it was just so stupid on my part. And, didn't no idea how to let go, but I did, you know, like I told you in one of the episodes, we talked about the Richard Brodigan, you know, arriving at the silence of self. Yeah. You know, I dug in, and after several days of it, like when you get into the 7th, 8th day, no internet, no stuff. When it did work, it would be like real spotty. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So I went 2 weeks, almost 3 with even when I came back, I didn't really turn it back on. I let my phone go to Stacy's phone. I even changed the number. It rings to her. She handled it. Even if she didn't handle it, it would have been fine probably, because there's nothing I could do any longer.
Right.
I feel like I had to let people down in order. I was even at one point apologizing about it, you know, but at the same time, I'm holding on for dear life, but I'm conditioned to be everything to everyone.
Yeah. Right.
So I realized, wow, I have to, in order to be the best me, which is what I think my why really is about. You and I have talked about our whys quite a bit, is to be a positive light, encourage other people, and help other people, and not just financially, but more of be a light for people to lean on and go, wow, this guy's got it going on and he's doing it right.
Yeah.
Where I don't think people are attracted to someone pushing things through. You know? Yeah,
absolutely. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's pros and cons to that. You push it through and maybe you produce the result, but I do think there's not only is there like alienation over here on this side necessarily, like we get to interact with the person pushing it through, which can feel prickly. But I also think, you know, when you were talking about letting it go and then realizing that things still got accomplished, I just pictured like, and I don't know if this was your experience, but I pictured like being present to gratitude. Like, wow, look, I can let go and look at all these people like getting it done. Well, maybe because they take pride in their work. They care about me, like, but it's just working. And I'm so grateful that it's working and I don't have to force it. Did you
Yeah.
experience that at all? Like,
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. I'll tell you a quick story. And you may have saw this on Facebook, and I've got the book in here. So I had to go back early. Brody broke his nose. Broke it in 3 places. How do you break your
whoa,
nose in
wow.
3 places?
Yeah. Wow.
So I had to come back, and I was in San Diego, and I go in this Marvel bookstore, right? It's like, I'm just killing time.
Yeah.
I'm in this place, and there's this book on a shelf, and it's by Gabriel Bernstein, and it says the universe has your back, right? And I looked at it, it was really out of place. Why is this book here? Anyways, I didn't get it. I went out to eat that night, found some good food. Like I said, we want good food and good sleep, right?
That's right.
Found some good food, and then it kept talking to me. One book in the whole store that I was, you know, I was like, I got to get this book, you know, had to get an Uber all the way across back town to get this stupid book, right? Get the book, put it in my bag, don't even think about it. Get on the plane and open it up. And it's exactly what you just talked about. I just was halfway through it on the plane, devouring about the universe having your back, right?
Yeah.
Like think about it. We can fight our way through it and we produce the result, right?
Yeah.
Or we let things kind of come together,
yeah,
and they work out because they're supposed to. And if they don't work out, they're not supposed to. So which one would you rather build your brand off of, Chris?
Right.
I mean, would you rather build it off of force, or would you rather build it off of things happening the way they're supposed to?
Yeah. Collaboration, partnership with the universe. Dude, listen, you're about to preach. I mean, the thing is, like, you get into the condition, the human condition, I think. Like, I'm going to go deep for a minute. I feel like a lot of us are living lives in isolation, right? Quiet desperation, even, if you want to quote some old school stuff there, right? But I feel like we kind of go through life disconnected from our source. You could say disconnected from God, you use whatever words feel good, but I feel like we're so wrapped up in fear that we feel like we have to do it, and we're so disconnected from something bigger than ourselves that has our back that we don't even know what it feels like to be in collaboration with the universe, with something bigger.
And it's freeing.
Yeah.
When you realize that you can just let go.
Right. Yes.
It's there for you.
Yeah.
And if it's not there from you, you don't want it.
Oh.
So it begins to become like, now here's the trick. Here's the secret. Okay. Is you got to go fill the tank up. And everyone's going to have their own way to fill it up. Right. You got to, you know, we go over all this all the time. You got to get good sleep. I think that's it for me. A critical component. If I don't have enough sleep, man, I don't do well. I could get into, you know, I was having this symptom. I won't get into what the symptom was, but I've been away from it. I have been doing very well. I'm eating right. I'm exercising. I'm doing the things I need to do to keep my reserve up. And I had a really bad night of sleep, probably my fault, because I think I didn't do the things I needed to the day that I've been doing since I've been back. My meditations, all that stuff. Next day, I had this real physical symptom that I have not seen in 3 weeks. It was my one day that I even told my wife that I didn't do the things I need to do to be able to operate at the level I operate at. Right. So it's funny, when we get back and we're clean and we're conscious and we're working really hard, Chris, you'll be amazed at how these conversations and these appointments and these meetings, they're taking something from us, but we don't think so because we multitask so well. Right.
Yeah.
But everyone, you finally come back and you've unplugged, you're away, and now your first day back and you have a meeting at 9, one at 1, and one at 3. You're like, after the 9, you're like, oh my God, I got to do another one. And then you realize, wait a minute, this stuff is just because I had a meeting and I wasn't holding a shovel and I wasn't physical. Maybe that's the problem. I've held a shovel before and I've worked, you know, pouring concrete. So I don't think like talking to someone or doing, I never put value in, but they take from you. So
Mhm.
every day,
Yeah.
say I had 3 meetings. Okay, that's no big deal. Wish I had your life, right? I don't think people understand how exhausting that can be, because you
Yeah.
put a lot into everything you do, and
Yeah.
then the next day you get up, you do it again. You're eating crappy. You're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
putting the right stuff in.
Yeah.
It's a recipe. The
Yeah.
28-year-old guy, 30-year-old guy doesn't see it. When he
Right.
gets 50 and 45,
Yeah.
they start to
Yeah.
go, "What, man? This stuff just stops working."
Yeah. Preach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. No, I feel like you're right. Because and how you do those meetings, if you're doing those meetings from a place of trying to control and micromanage and push and hustle versus you're doing those meetings from a place of letting go and collaborating with something bigger than yourself. I mean, I've noticed that with the times when I show up, did you ever read the book, The Surrender Experiment?
No.
There was a guy, Michael Singer, I think is the author's name, and he was from Florida. This amazing story of how all he ever wanted to do was just do his yoga poses. This is kind of how he said
Kind
it
of
through
all
the
I
book.
want to do.
Yeah. And he would talk about like, he decided one time the whole experiment was just like, I'm just going to let whatever shows up show up. And he just kind of went through life doing yoga poses and like the magic of what showed up in his
Wow.
life. He ended up taking a company public and all he
Wow.
wanted to do was yoga poses. But like,
Oh,
he was so open to like what was showing up in his life that he could respond to the things being given and provided and right versus like trying to force things through. And his experience of life is what captured my imagination. I'm like, my life feels like a lot of hard work at times. His life sounded beautiful, magical even. You're like, wow, like I think sometimes we don't even know how good it can be. We're so used to living on scraps that we don't even know how good life could be in partnership with the universe. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that just, that whole thought just gets me fired up. I mean,
Yeah.
like in the business that I have worked very hard for many years, how it still works, just really letting go. And I think yours as well. Obviously, we're on the main stage and we have to be that person. But I mean, I think there's other ways of approaching it and getting to the finish line without
Absolutely.
causing a lot of
Yeah.
I also really think it's like enjoying yourself. Like we should open up our day timers, right? Before we lay out our weeks,
Right.
and put what's important to us in there. I used to hate the thought of had a good friend of mine, Price Rayner, and he'd break out his book. I'd ask him if he'd go surf, and he'd break out his book, and he had his whole days all laid out. I thought, are you kidding me? You're gonna lay out your day? And now looking back on it, how wise is that, right? So time my kids, pick up the kids, go to work out, you're doing this for freedom. You're going to your reserves, and you're really you're controlling your day. You're controlling your time off. And then it kind of comes together. Whereas if you just kind of go about it, whoa, here I'm at the office at 8, first one in, I'm slamming coffee. Anybody got donuts? I mean, if you really just, and I began to experiment a little bit. I want to get that book you're talking about, because I've been doing that a little bit. I mean, people are coming at me and they want to bring me their problems and they want me to solve it. And I'm just literally gonna go do a little yoga in the other room.
Yeah, right.
And it's amazing, man. It'll come out of there and they won't ever bring it up again. They figure it out.
Yeah, they figure it out. Wow.
I think if you can begin to, like the conversation began, how to tie all that reality and not, let go and not go back.
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah,
that's
so good. I love it. Well, let's wrap there, because I feel like there's so many good nuggets. I will go back and listen to this personally just because I love this conversation. I think, ultimately what we're talking about is quality of life and the magic of life. And I think that happens in letting go. I don't think we get to experience the magic of life when we hold on out of fear. I think when we start to open up to what's possible and something bigger, then I think life becomes magical. So
true. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing this up. Thanks for sharing your personal experience. I love it when you get to, when you share the transparent stuff.
I told you, I don't know. There's so much that occurred. I can't even begin, but that's a little sample. We'll dig into more.
Yeah. I would imagine if somebody, you seem pretty open. I mean, if somebody reached out to you and said, hey, let's grab coffee. I want to hear more about this thing of letting go. Yeah.
That matters to me a lot more than, and I love real estate. We obviously it's what I do. And My website, 30alocalrealestate.com or 30alocalproperties.com. I can be reached at. But if you just want to chat about this kind of stuff, I'm more fired up than that, than probably calling me about a listing or something, because I love that. But I also know, and I'm becoming very clear that builds that.
Right.
You know?
Yep. That's right.
I think that's the way it's supposed to be working. I was trying to build it through real estate and control it.
Right.
I don't want to control anything anymore.
Yeah. I think that's, if we put it in a business context, I think that people are looking to work with people of substance, people of thought, people who are exploring. I think what we don't want is like people who pretend they have all the answers. And I think it's refreshing when we find people who are seekers and exploring and have more questions in life than they have answers. And I think that's refreshing for the rest of us. And the fact that you would be a real estate agent, I'm like, oh, you're an agent, you own a company, just makes that more attractive to me. Like, well, I want to do business with somebody like you because it's safe. It's refreshing. Anyway, so you guys,
the old saying that goes, Chris, like, the older I get, the less I know. Don't you feel like that?
Right. Yeah, right. Totally. Yeah. Way more gray areas than when I was in my 20s. Everything was super clear in my 20s.
Yeah. I always wonder why my dad said, ask your mom.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
There you go. Well, good stuff, Bobby. Thanks for your time today. You guys can go to 30A Local Properties or 30A Local Real Estate. Yes?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Good to see you, Chris. Take care.